Hey guys, and welcome to my channel and to this video. And for today I was thinking we could be painting some letters and envelopes, some pen, and anyway some loose fun painting. I believe this will definitely be something very nice for you. And I did make my sketch earlier and just on regular printing paper, trace it onto my watercolor paper. So the sketch will be available for download from my website. There is a link down in the description box. So go ahead, download it for yourself, trace it, and we can get started. For today, I will be using this Clairefontaine watercolor paper. It is 300 GSM or 140 pounds. It's cold press watercolor paper and 100% cotton. Also, it is 24 by 30 centimeters or 9.5 by 12 inches. And for the paints, I will be using my watercolors and also some watercolors from Etchr. Of course, 2 jars of water. For the brushes, I'm not really sure yet what I'm going to use. I will see during the painting process, but I guess definitely this little bit bigger one, Moba brush for the background. Probably this little bit larger round brush, maybe some smaller round brush, maybe some detail brush. That will be definitely something to use for a little bit more of the details. Also, I will be probably using this ink pen from Etchr. This is number 03. I will see, maybe I will be adding those edges, maybe not, probably yes, because my sketch is quite dark, so probably I will be adding those to cover some of those pencil lines. And also I will be using this brush marker, but of course you can use an ink pen for that, a brush marker for writing the text on my letter. And I think that is basically it. Now we can get started. I'm mixing in some turquoise and also will be adding a light brown in it just to get a little bit less saturated pigment. I do wanted that greenish turquoise color for the background, so I'm starting off with that. Of course, you can do your background as you like. If you want it to be a little bit more gray, a little bit more blue, that is also fine. I did want mine to be somewhat greenish, and also adding a little bit of the turquoise. I'm painting entire background except of the papers and the envelope, those parts, and of course the pen. Those parts I am skipping, and the rest I'm just painting now. Now I'm tapping in just a clean water, and afterwards this somewhat a raw sienna color, yellowish color here and there, just to create a little bit more textures to that background. And while that paint is still wet, I don't mind if the paint from my papers bleed into the background. I don't mind that, but if you do, you can leave it to dry completely and then paint in the papers and the envelope. I don't mind that. Those bleeds, even if they are there, will be very, very light. So that is something that I'm not bothered with. I'm painting letters, papers and envelope before the background is completely dry. And for that, I am using this, well, I guess this is something like a raw sienna color. And also when painting, I'm not painting in a straight line, but I'm just circling with my brush, going on one side, on the other side, because that is the way also to create textures. I don't want my surface to be completely flat and soft, smooth. I do want it to be a little bit textured. So that is the reason why I'm turning my brush on all the sides, painting circular. So just do yourself, give yourself a free hand and enjoy this process, because however you do it with your brush and whatever textures you get, that is perfect. That is what we want. Also, I did use a little bit darker color. This is a brownish color to paint in one side of the papers, because I do want it to look like an old paper that is faded on some parts and some parts is maybe a little bit darker. So that is the reason why I've added just a little bit darker paint. Same way I'm painting the envelope, adding a little bit darker pigment on the side, also creating some shadow just beneath that upper lip of the envelope, and creating some shadows also around the papers. some clean water sprinkles, just again to give it a little bit more texture. Afterwards, I did this time leave it to dry completely, and when it all dried completely, I moved on to painting the pen. And for the pen, I do want it to be of a color, a little bit maybe more distinct color, to well, to stand out slightly. So I did mix this beautiful purple color. It is actually a mix of violet and a blue that has a little bit of the red hue in it. So I've painted in with that color the entire one. Then on one right side, I've added a little bit of the darker pigment, maybe even some darker brown, to paint in that part, make it look like it's in shadow. And for the left side, I've picked up a little bit of the paint with my brush, also adding some shadows just on the lines where the papers touch, and also where the envelope is, the edges of the envelope, edges of the papers. And for that, I am using again a darker brown, but don't make it too dark because you don't want that to stand out too much, just a little bit darker, and use quite amount of water just to make it, well, visible but not to stand out. And also I've smudged it slightly inwards in places where I did get some lines that I did not want. I just picked up a little bit of the water and smudged it slightly inwards. Also splattered again some of that color that I did use for the paper. And now I've picked up this awesome brush with this pointed tip. I do love that brush for very, very thin lines, and I'm just adding a little bit more of the details. Now I will be using this brush marker to write in the text on my letters, and I'm not really writing any text, I'm just, you know, making it look like there is some text. And since this brush marker is water soluble, and when I'm adding some water on top of it, it smudges, I decided to sprinkle some clean water to make it look like some of the text had smudged. Maybe it was in touch with the water, maybe it's an old letter. So I just wanted to smudge it slightly. Also, I did write some text a little bit lighter to make it look like it has faded. Now again, picking up the ink pen and doing a little bit more of the details, edges on my papers, on the envelope, on the pen, just to again make it a little bit more interesting. I do love to use ink pens lately, so why not? If you do want to do this step, you can do it. If you want to skip that step, that is also fine. At the end, I will be adding a couple of more splatters with that beautiful color, violet color I used for the pen, and that is it. I'm done. So I hope you like this one. It is quite simple, and if you do like it, please hit the like button and share it, comment. And well, if you haven't still, please do subscribe to my channel. That would really mean a lot to me. Maybe consider joining my channel. That's that join next to the subscribe. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye.